hello, my friends. Welcome. Happy Saturday. Woo! Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, my friends. So good to be here today. So amazing to be able to share another word of encouragement, another word of inspiration. You know, yesterday I missed you guys. We had kind of like a hectic day around between getting some things happening and work and everything, and before I knew it, it was time to go to work, and I missed our live stream yesterday. But let me tell you, my friends, you were in my heart. I was thinking about you guys, knowing, being sad that I couldn't live stream yesterday, but here we are today, my friends. So thank you for being here today. Welcome. My name, my friends, is Jesus DJ Perez, and Elisa, welcome. Thank you for joining us, my love. Thank you for being here. Hola, señorita hermosa. I love it. Thank you for being here, my friends. I acknowledge you all, each and every single one of you, for your incredible support. As I was saying a couple days ago, we have been monitoring the demographics here of our community, and it is crazy. It is so overwhelming in a beautiful way, I must say, to see so many people watching from many different countries, right? That our content is reaching now to 20 plus different countries at the moment. And you know, this is just the grace of God pour through this, as I am only an instrument. I am only a vessel of the hands of God, right? I'm only a vessel. I'm here today sharing and empowering you today, my friends. So my friends, for today's message, you know, just to trying to keep it short and sweet type of idea. Short and sweet, of course, is always good, right? You know, I was having a conversation with my wife this morning while we were having our morning coffee and just kind of like getting ready to you know, just to take action and to get ourselves moving from the day-to-day things that we needed to do, right? And somehow, if a couple people came to our mind and into our heart, and we were able to realize that definitely God needed to come into their hearts, and they needed to reach out to God, because their current state of their heart is full of pride, is full of selfishness, is full of me, and only me, and after me is me kind of idea. And as long as I have money, I don't need anything else. As long as we get the paycheck, everything is beautiful, everything is wonderful, everything is just the way it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, you and I know, my friends, that that's not how life goes. There are ups and downs in life, and it's not everything beautiful and just rosy, right? So my wife and I were talking about it, and I say, you know what, baby, yeah, they will learn to come up to Christ when they hit desperation. And I don't wish it on anybody. I don't wish bad on anyone. But it is true indeed that we come to God. Most of us, I can't say everybody, but most of us, we come to God. We come down on our knees and cry out to God when we hit rock bottom. I know that's exactly what happened to me. I hit rock bottom, my friends, and I asked God, I said, God, you got to help me out here. And I remember that day, and the story that I'm telling you when I hit rock bottom is also being shared right here. You'll find the link in the comments below. And you know what, guys? It was a moment of desperation. It was a call for help. At that time, my life and the life of my wife and the relationship we had at the time with our daughters was about to come to an end. And even though I grew up in a Christian environment, I never really wanted to walk with the Lord the moment I became a teenager. You know, when I was a kid, you know, they would force me to go to church, and let's go to church, and you go to Sunday church, and everything's cool, and you're having fun, you're making friends and everything. But it came to a point that I became a teenager, and I had no desire to have anything to do with God or to have anything to do with church for that matter. And I felt attacked, I felt offended, I felt hurt, I felt like the church was against me. And how many of you have ever been like that, where you go to a church and you feel that everyone is against you, when the truth is not? Maybe, maybe a couple people stare at you, look at you, wonder about you, whatever, right? But the problem with that is that we are fixing our eyes on the church. We are fixing our eyes on the pastor. We are fixing our eyes on the brother or the sister or the person who sat next to me, when we should be fixing our eyes on God, the one that matters, not on the pastor, not whether the worship is good, whether the worship is not good. But we often become so critical. And we're like, oh yeah, that pastor, oh yeah. And that was me, my friends. That was me. Because my mom would invite me to church any given Sunday, when I became an adult. And she would say, hey, come to church. And, people would come over, gather around me, and they would put their hands over me and pray. And yeah, the emotion would get the best out of me, and I would start bawling my eyes out, would call out to God for forgiveness, because I knew the word of God was already embedded into my heart. I knew that I heard about the love of God over my life. And I known all along that His protection has been with me all along. But I didn't have a genuine transformation until I actually hit rock bottom. And just like that, there are many people within my own family, right, that had the same testimony, where when they came to desperation mode, that's when they turned their eyes on Christ. That's when they turned their hands up to God. When they hit rock bottom, that desperation moment. But meanwhile, they felt that everything was so good. They were having a good time, working, making money, spending money, traveling, and you know what? Yeah, all of that is so cool. Who doesn't love to travel, right? Who doesn't like to go shopping? I mean, online shopping or whatever, right? But it wasn't until these family members came to a desperation moment, like I did, that they turned their eyes to Christ. And my friends, the book of Psalm, chapter 107, verse 13 and 14, reminds us, and this is what the Word of God says. Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and He saved them out of their distress. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death, and broke their chains in pieces. Psalm 107, verse 13 and 14. What a beautiful reminder. What a beautiful promise. Example. How they cried out to the Lord in their trouble. I cry out to the Lord in my trouble. My family members who waited till desperation moment, they cry out to the Lord at that point. So my question to you, my friends, is this. Why do we have to wait until the moment that we hit rock bottom? Why do we have to wait until desperation mode to turn up to Christ and say, God, here I am. Here I am. And I want to get to know you. I want to see you. I want to know you, Father. The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 13, this is what the Word of God says. So rend your heart, and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for He is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and of great kindness, and He relents from doing harm. Joel chapter 2, verse 13. He is slow to anger. So when we come to Christ, we know for a fact that God is not going to be judging us right there. He's not going to be condemning us. He's not going to be, you see, I told you so. You know what I mean? God is going to welcome you with his open arms. He's going to say, come here, my child. Come here. Because the Lord is waiting for you to turn to him. Like when I turned to Christ and Jesus got a hold of me, and as I mentioned, I was at the rock bottom, man. And that story, like I mentioned, it's in the comments below. The link, it's in the comments below. So you can watch the story. When Jesus got a hold of me, transformed my entire life, and redeemed me, and saved me from death. Ooh, my friends, thank you so much, man. Wow, thank you again to all of our live viewers, and for those who are watching the replay, thank you again, my friends. My desire for you this morning, my friends, my thoughts, my prayers for you this morning, my friends, is for you not to wait until you hit that rock bottom, but rather come to Christ before you hit rock bottom, like it happened to me, like it happened to many of my family members who waited until the things were sour, until things were wrong, until things were messed up. That's when they turned their attention to Christ. But my question is, why do we have to wait until it hurts to seek God's grace? Why? I invite you to share this message. I'll invite you to add your comments below, whether it's during the live chat like right now, which we are about to conclude, or whether you're watching the replay, my friends. May God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you on Sunday, my friends. Woo. And sorry, I'll see you Monday, because Sunday, tomorrow, we're off tomorrow. I love you. I love you. Stay in power. Stay beautiful, my friends. God bless you all.